All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It's not Miller time, it's Cruising with a Case Handler time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am David Squeeze Annakie of the Link Up Media group of companies. They say I'm the CEO, but I know that's what I am. I want to say a pleasant good morning to the panel this morning, of course, of attorneys. We have two of the attorneys already on the show, Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration law. And I've got two of the stalwarts of the firm, Alan E.K. Esquire, the general, we refer to him as because of his depth, his knowledge, his experience, his wherewithal when it comes to immigration law. A pleasant good morning to you, Mr. K. How are you?
Good, thank you. And how are you?
I am wonderful. It's good to have you here again on the show on 93.5 WVIP FM and also on Facebook to hundreds of thousands of people who love to get their immigration questions answered. And also, of course, you're giving an update on immigration law and what's happening in our era of Biden. But let me move on to the lady also of the hour. Her name is Alexandra Bondikov. We call her the boss lady. How are you doing today, Miss Bondikov?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. I was the little one, by the way. I haven't asked you that yet.
The little one? Yeah. She's good too. She's struggling with homeschooling, but I guess everybody's in the same boat. Hopefully with the vaccine, things are going to change. But thanks for asking.
There you go. There you go.
She still says I'm not the boss of her, so.
There you go. There you go. You know, don't you love it when they say that to you? You're not the boss of me.
Well, yep.
You know where that's going, you know? Right up that lawyer alley, especially with you, you know, like, look what you have created, you know. But anyway, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you know, we're going to be answering your immigration questions this morning. The case handler, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that name is the name for one of the attorneys at the firm that has brought this about along with Link Up Media. That firm happens to be Pollack, Isaac, and Lisico, a firm that has been around for 60 solid years. And of course, the firm was built on immigration and of course, helping out thousands of people who actually needed immigration help, immigration advice and more. But the case handler is now a partner at that firm. His real name is Adam Handler. He is truly genuinely the top personal injury attorney on this radio station, outside of this radio station, in this hemisphere, like I always say. And of course, he has settled well over $130 million in accident cases. So if you get hurt in an automobile accident, you should definitely call the case handler, Adam Handler. And that number, by the way, is the same number that you call for immigration, different departments. The number is 844-774-3529. One of the most powerful things that you can do when you listen to this radio station is to store the phone number of a full service law firm that has proven themselves to this community. I fully endorse PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and Lisico. Once again, the phone number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW. Let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's 26 minutes before the hour. We're on 93.5 WVIP FM. And those of us who are actually on Facebook, I implore you, I ask of you to actually share in groups, pages, and on your friends' timelines so that it can get the information from this wonderful show with the attorneys. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to ask ladies first. So let's go with ladies. If Alexandra has anything to say before we get to the man who always have information. Anything you got to say on immigration before we kick it over to Alan E.K., Ms. Bondikov?
I'm just going to say one thing. We are seeing some positive developments, but I want to caution everybody out there. Change will come, but it will come very, very slowly. One of the reasons is that the Biden administration hasn't even had the chance to set up its own staff, especially at the agency, at the policy level. And these are things that matter in terms of adjudication. So I don't want our listeners to think that now that we have a new administration, things have gotten dramatically different or that much easier. They're still very, very complicated. But I'm sure Alan is going to delve a little bit into the positive changes that we're seeing coming from this administration.
Okay, great. And once again, folks, we're speaking on immigration. That's Alexandra Bondikov, Esquire, one of the top attorneys at the firm in the capacity of immigration. Very powerful lady. That's the reason why you should call her. And of course, you know, hire her. Let her handle your case. Don't do it yourself. Let me say this much, man. Listen, I'm not calling anyone stupid. I'm not calling anyone silly. But I personally, it would be silly of me to actually go and work on my own case about my status in the United States, considering that it's one of the most important things to my life and my family. Why would I not want to invest money in taking care of that? No, ladies and gentlemen, do not do your case yourself. Don't go to the lady on the corner of Gunner Road, the dude on Eastern Parkway, the guy in the back of the travel agency, as Alan would say. No, hire an attorney. Let them do the dirty work. And this firm, they love doing the dirty work for you. Just hire them. Call them up, get a consultation, and hire them. The number is 844-PPIDLAW. Let's turn it over to Alan and see what he has to say as people call 844-774-3529 to get themselves a consultation on immigration. Alan.
Okay, to start with, President Biden has introduced a new bill called the Immigration Act of 2021. The bill itself is 353 pages. I have a summary of the bill, which is 66 pages. So this bill can be an 8-year pathway to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented immigrants who are present in the United States. 700,000 of them are DACA people. So whether it becomes the law entirely or in different pieces, it's very important that we have a bill which will do a lot of really good things, and we'll talk about some of those good things now and in the future. Importantly, we had talked about the fact that the ex-president had introduced a new civics test for citizenship. And that civics test was designed to make it much more difficult for people to pass, and therefore much more difficult for people to become citizens. Well, the Biden administration is going to take out the ex-president's civics test, and it's going back to the old civics test. So if you applied for citizenship between December 1st, 2020 and March 1st, 2021, and you're scheduled for an interview before April 19th, 2021, you can choose. Do you want to take the old test, which is really good, or do you want to take Trump's version, which is not very good at all? So basically, the fact that they're going to go back to the old civics test in general and get rid of the ex-president's civics test is a very good thing. So you won't have to worry about taking the new Trump version, which is designed to make it difficult for you to pass. Now, we've been talking a lot about public charge, and public charge is still in effect, but the Supreme Court is going to be hearing the public charge contest and decide whether to strike it out or decide whether to keep it in. And at the same time, the Biden administration may just withdraw the case that's pending before the Supreme Court. So I think in the end, public charge is going to go out. But right now, it's waiting to be heard by the Supreme Court, unless the Biden administration just takes it out and says we're not going to contest it. We're going to go back and no public charge. Okay. Now, nice thing in the bill that the Immigration Act of 2021, one of the important things is at the beginning, it says the term alien is replaced with the term non-citizen. Non-citizen means you're somebody who's not a citizen. So they're getting rid of the old alien terminology, which has been in place for a long, long time. It's a welcome sign. It gives you an idea about the mindset of the Biden administration. Now, the new bill, if it passes, it could pass in pieces. Some parts could go through and other parts not. I don't think it's going to be possible to have the whole bill passed. They need 60 votes in the Senate to get it through. And I don't think they may not get 60 votes. But anyway, there's a lot of good things in the Citizenship Act of 2021. We'll talk about that over and over again. Now, keep in mind there are 11 million undocumented people in the United States. It shows that our immigration system is broken. and Biden's new Immigration Act of 2021 will try to fix that. Right now, keep in mind that there are 5.9 million U.S. citizen children, who have an undocumented parent. So we're hoping that we're going to have some progress on the Immigration Act of 2021.
Alan, is there a timeline as to when Congress will vote on it? Do you know?
No, because what happened is this, it's been introduced into the House and the Senate. They have to do markup on the bill. That's going to take a couple of months to do markup. And then the House will come out with, we've marked it up. This is our version. The Senate will say, we've marked it up. This is our version. Then both versions have to try to be melded together. So it's going to be at least a few months. So right now they're going through the markup process. Markup means which pieces they're going to take out, which pieces they're going to put in, what are they going to add. So I would say at least a few months until we hear something significant on that.
So basically no law yet, and we don't know what it will look like if it ever passes. I just want to make it clear for the listeners that while it's a great proposal, it's just this at this stage. It's just a proposal.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because the idea is to be very careful, those people who are listening to this program, for travel agents and even lawyers who say, give me the money, we'll put you first in line. You'll be right, you don't have to wait. Be very careful of those people who are promising you things in connection with the new law. There's no new law, there's a proposal. And people will be out there trying to take your money and say, we'll put you first in line, just give us the money, and when it gets into effect, you'll be first. Bad. Now also, as far as DACA is concerned, there is a bill pending called the DREAM Act, which was proposed by both a Republican and a Democrat, both high-ranking people, and that would help DACA people if this DREAM Act gets passed. But it's also in the immigration bill too, so two different things. You have the Immigration Act of 2021, which has a DREAM Act part in it, and you have a separate bill called the DREAM Act, which has been put in by a very high-ranking Democrat and a high-ranking Republican. At the same time, President Biden has put in an executive order which tells agents, government agencies, to figure out a way to fortify and strengthen DACA. Because right now, DACA is under attack in Texas. There's a court considering whether DACA should go out entirely. So the fact that we have a DREAM Act, which is a separate bill, which would protect and fortify DACA, an executive order from President Biden to kind of protect and fortify DACA, and part of it in the immigration bill. Will Congress pass the DREAM Act? We're not sure what's going to happen, but it's possible.
Well, Alan, before you said, will Congress pass the DREAM Act? Isn't the DREAM Act already in effect? It's about extending it, right?
No, there's no DREAM Act yet. I mean, we have DACA. That's still there. People who have DACA. DACA is under attack in a court in Texas. But two other things going on. There's a separate bill called the DREAM Act of 2021. Okay. Legislation is pending. And also you have a DREAM Act in the new immigration bill. So we've got two different ways that it can become law, but right now it's not. Now, in addition to
let me just give out the number. By the way, folks, it's now 15 minutes before the hour. I am David Annakie, and I'm here with the attorney that you hear speaking, Alan E.K. We call him the general because of his knowledge. And also, of course, Alexandra Bondikov. They're of the firm PPID, that's Pollack, Isaac, and Nasico. And we're here each and every single weekday at 9:30 a.m. discussing immigration, answering immigration questions. And you may also place your immigration questions now on Facebook in the comment section on my page, David Annakie, or the case handler page, or PPID's page. Also, of course, you can call 844-774-3529. Every single person out there, the only attorneys I recommend for you to do your immigration case with happens to be the attorneys of Pollack, Isaac, and Nasico, a law firm that has been planted in the community for 60 solid years. That's 60. And that's one of the reasons why we're here on this station every single day speaking with them either in retrospect or live on immigration and also personal injury. I'll let you continue, Alan, as they call 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPIDLAW to actually get your immigration questions answered or get proficient, competent attorneys. Okay, proficient, competent attorneys. Be extremely careful, folks. There's so much happening out there, especially now that Biden is in power. And there are still, by the way, and I'm going to ask Alexandra to touch on that, Alan, before we get to a couple of questions and come back to you. There are still things that we can do right now to file for, our status in the United States. Some people may be listening and saying, well, there's nothing I can do right now. There are still some positive things that we can do to get in status, adjusting status, and so forth. Some people think that nothing at all can be done now. But what are some of the ways in which people can get in status right now, Alexandra?
I mean, it really depends, of course, on the individual situation. So an in-person consultation or consultation over the phone is going to go a long way of telling an attorney what the facts are and what the possible options may be. But generally speaking, somebody may have a relative in the United States who will be able to petition for them. They may have an employer willing to sponsor him for either a work visa or a green card. There's ways. They may be eligible for cancellation or removal. This is something that Nelson Madrid's department is doing. But the point is, there may be options for you if you're listening out there, but we won't know unless you make that call.
Absolutely. And by the way, folks, maybe you have already spoken with another firm, another attorney. Maybe you've already spoken with somebody out there, but you want to get a true, forthright, second opinion. All you need to do is call the firm. Stop lollygagging. Get up off your tush, make the call, speak with one of the attorneys, and find out truly what can be done. All right? They will tell you if anything can be done or not. If nothing can be done, then you stay under the radar, but at least find out. Here I am giving you a solid, experienced entity to handle your situation. Don't listen to the streets. Listen to the professionals. Why? This has to do with your status in the United States of America, the greatest country in the world. Why would you not want to go about it in a professional manner? That's what it's all about, folks. This is not you selecting to buy some shoes down the block. This is you, working on your status in the United States, your family. You don't want to get put in removal proceedings. You have heard of the nightmare cases. You've heard of all about these hearsays. No, go with lawyers. Go with people like Annakie. Conrad Pollack, the managing partner, jokes about him having 90 years of experience. All right? Go with the firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Call them at 844-774-3529. 93.5 FM listeners, I implore you once again, make the phone call, get yourself at least a consultation, speak with them, and then you decide whether or not you want to hire them. 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPIDLAW. And yes, if you get hurt in an accident, you will need Adam Handler from the Personal Injury Department. Let me make one more point quickly, Alan, and then let's jump into some questions for both you and Alexandra, and then we'll top it off with the rest of the information that you have. And by the way, thank you both for being here on 93.5 FM and also on Facebook. Go ahead, Alan.
Oh, you want me to give some more? Okay, so
and then we'll jump into some questions.
Okay, we talked about removal proceedings, and some people are already in removal proceedings. However, there's a huge backlog in removal proceedings. There's a 1.3 million case backlog, and there are only 500 immigration judges. So if you do the math, and how are 500 immigration judges going to handle 1.3 million backlog removal cases? Right now, you probably have to wait 4, 5, 6 years if you're in removal to try to get a decision. So this is a system that's kind of hopelessly broken. And that's one thing that I think that we'll be trying to take care of in the Immigration Act. The last thing I want to mention before we go to questions is that last week, the Department of Homeland Security issued new guidance for ICE personnel. And this guidance covers all ICE personnel. It's not like they can't previously they could pick up anybody on the street and grab them and take them into custody. Now, the new guidance that came out on February 18th includes whether they can detain a non-citizen or release them a non-citizen, whether they can put someone in removal proceedings or end removal proceedings, whether they can stop or arrest a non-citizen, whether it can give a non-citizen temporary permission to be in the United States called a parole with deferred action. The three priorities now for ICE, which is different the way it used to be, is national security. Is it a case involving national security, border security, or public safety? So now we have some guidelines for ICE. It's not like they can go out and just grab anybody on the street. There are certain guidelines, priorities for who they can arrest and who they can put in removal proceedings, and which is a very good sign. The fact that we have some interim guidance from ICE until Mr. Mayorkas reviews the guidelines, but that's in effect now. So it's a softening of what ICE can do. So I will pass again back to Squeeze, and we can do some more questions.
Thank you so much. Once again, his name is Alan E.K. He's with the top immigration law firm, Pollack, Isaac, and Nasico in New York City. And of course, at 225 Broadway on the third floor with offices in Peekskill and Brooklyn. Active, I do believe it's the Peekskill offices and also the Manhattan office. I think the Brooklyn office is still on hold for now during COVID. With that said, once again, folks, the number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Dial the number, let it ring 15, 20 seconds, or the number, pass it on to a friend or someone that you know need professional help in the capacity of immigration or even personal injury. First question up, what if a Jamaican came up to the United States just to have a child in the United States and the father is back in Jamaica? Can the mom add the father's name to the birth certificate all at the time of the birth? Will that be a problem to the mother legally in any way, shape, or form? Can she lose her visa if she decides to travel in the future? Alexandra?
The first part of the question, whether or not she can add the father's name to the birth certificate, that's a little bit outside of my expertise. I don't see why not. I think there's no problem, but she should be speaking to a family attorney. With respect to the second part of the question about future travel, it's very difficult to answer. I don't know what her status currently is. Did she come on a tourist visa? Is she a legal permanent resident? I need more information, but generally speaking, if she came on a B2 tourist visa and had a child, is that what it says?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it, but I'm assuming. So if she came in on a tourist visa just to have the child, that's something that is referred to birth tourism, and it could potentially have implications down the line.
Absolutely.
That child, when born in the United States, is an American citizen, but that American citizen child cannot help the parent directly until the child is 21. As far as birth certificate is concerned, that's something you would talk to the New York City Department of Health to try to correct the birth certificate or add the father to it.
Okay. All right. So once again, folks, and be very careful, folks, because that is not something that one should actually be doing. You should not be coming here to just have a child. I've spoken with the attorney several times about that. You can't just come to the United States to have a child. You are not a resident of the United States. I'm just saying you could get yourself potentially in trouble with getting your visa taken away from you. We've heard of these horror stories at the airport. So be very careful. And that's the reason why you should actually call the attorneys, speak with the attorneys, find out what your options are before you go off and do something that could potentially get you in trouble. Stop. I've always said this, Alexandra and Alan. There's no reason for us to climb over the wall, to climb over the fence when we can just walk through the door, and that's what I've been trying to tell people listening on 93.5 FM. Let's stop climbing over the fence. Let's stop climbing over the wall, and let's just go through the door. All you got to do is find out the path, and that's it. And that path happens to be the attorneys at PPID. Call them and walk through the door. So many times it's so easy, but people listen to people in the streets. People listen to others and the hearsays and do the wrong thing and get themselves into more trouble. No, don't do that. Call the attorney. Have a consultation. 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPIDLAW. Here's another one, okay? This one says, I got married in December of 2019. My husband had migrated to the United States in August 2019. We have 2 children together who I keep saying migrated, but birds migrate. They immigrated with him. The distance is affecting our children as they want to be with both of us. I'm presently living in Jamaica. My husband is a green card holder. What is the likelihood of staying in the United States while my husband files for me?
Well, it seems like the person who's asking the question is back home in Jamaica, and the husband here is a permanent resident. So the husband can file a petition for the wife and bring the wife here as a green card holder. It might take a year, year and a half. The children would also come with the husband if the children are not permanent residents or U.S. citizens. So the thing to do is, call us for a consultation, but basically, if your husband is a permanent resident and you're back home in Jamaica, he should file for you right away. And the case could take maybe a year, year and a half, and you'll be here as a green card holder.
Got you.
And by the way, he could have filed right away.
There you
2
go.
years ago.
Once
Or a
again,
year and a half ago.
yep, there you go. Got Alan E.K., Alexandra Bondikov, the attorneys, the immigration attorneys at the firm, answering your questions. Once again, make the call, people. That's all I can tell you. Make the call, get a consultation, get all your immigration questions answered. Anyone out there that need to get immigration answers, just have them call the firm. Once again, the number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. All right. Here's another one. I'm a Jamaican who entered the U.S. on a student visa. While attending school, I started dating an American. He proposed to me and he wants me to stay in the U.S. with him when I finish school. I do want to marry him, but I need to know if this will affect my ability to go back to Jamaica freely, as my mother is elderly and lives in Jamaica. I need to be able to go back to see her. This one is for you, Alexandra.
So the answer is she can travel to Jamaica freely. The only thing that she needs to be aware of is that in order to do so, while the case is pending, she's going to need a travel permit, or what we call an advance parole document. And that takes about 6 months right now for approval. However, there's ways to expedite it. So the answer is most likely she will be able to travel, but she's going to have to take some extra steps if travel is immediate or before the 6 months that the advance parole would come. So she's going to need an advance parole. She can obtain it faster than the 6 months under certain circumstances. Call the firm.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one more question, but we'll do that after the top of the hour. If you want to continue listening to us, skip to my page. That's David Squeeze Annakie on Facebook, and also the firm's page, PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, or the case handler page with Adam Handler. Once again, we're talking on immigration. Also want to let you know that the case handler himself, who is not on today, handles accident cases. However, you can reach in both capacity for immigration and personal injury, the number 844-PPID-LAW. That's 844-774-3529. 844-774-3529. Dial the number, store the number, pass the number on. Continue.
It's 10 o'clock.
All right, final question, and then we wrap up with some updates here. It says here, I am 31 years of age. And by the way, get ready, this one is a pretty long one. I'm 31 years of age and I currently live in Jamaica. My father lives in New York. He raised me here in Jamaica and then migrated and married and had 2 other children. I am the eldest of his 5 children, 2 of whom were living in Jamaica. He filed for his other 2 children and didn't file for me. I've been through so much. He told me a lie that he was filing for me. I honestly have been trying to get my visa. I applied 3 times and was unsuccessful. The embassy told me that I'm eligible for a green card and I should let my father file for me. Honestly, he hasn't been doing what a father was supposed to do from all these years. He doesn't answer my calls and he doesn't call for years and then make promises he doesn't fulfill. I am honestly struggling so much. I have a small business and it has been and it still is rough. I need funding for it. I just want a better life. I want to be able to travel. So I am seeking, so help me where this is concerned. What do I do? And I read that verbatim. And pretty long one. And
one thing I would say is this, that you could give us a call and we can do a consultation. And we can call your father and find out what's holding it up and why he's not filing for you. So maybe he's not giving you the right answers, but if he gets a call from a lawyer who's acting on your behalf, maybe we can find out what's holding him up, why he's not filing. He may have some problems, which are not really problems, but if he talks to us, we can resolve them.
Right. And outside of that, what are the options other than getting a visitor's visa to just visit? Okay. There are no other options currently based on what we are hearing, right? But they should call to see what potential options based on what information they could divulge to you, correct?
Yeah, there's not gonna, if they've denied a visitor's visa 1, 2, 3 times, they're not going to give a visitor's visa. So basically the key to this thing is your father, and we want to find out what's holding it up. Why is he having problems? And we'll be happy to talk to him. He's not going to tell you for some reason, but we can talk to him and find out.
Okay, beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the show, Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, brought to you by the law firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Call them now, call them today, get that consultation in. It's 844-PPID-LAW, that's the number, 844-774-3529. If you're watching us on Facebook, regardless of where you are in the world, immigration law in the United States is federal, so the firm can help you regardless of where you are in the world, as long as it has to do with U.S. immigration. So call the firm once again, 844-774-3529. I'll let you quickly top it off for me, Alan EK, with any additional information that you have on any immigration updates, and we'll conclude. You may go ahead.
One of the good things in the Immigration Act of 2021, which was introduced by President Biden, is that it will end the 3 and 10-year bar, which means that if you've been in the United States more than a certain period of time, you're going to be barred for 3 years from coming back unless you get a waiver. If you've been in the United States without status more than a year, you'll be barred for 10 years from coming back. It's a terrible provision, and it's in the Immigration Act of 2021 to end the 3 and 10-year bar. In addition, we talked before that the public charge rule is now being reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court. And at the same time, the Biden administration may just withdraw the case before the Supreme Court, and public charge will go out. So there's some good things happening, and the Immigration Act of 2021 will be a path to legal status for all undocumented immigrants present in the United States before January 1st, 2021. So there's a lot of good things in that bill. As I say, it's 353 pages. I have a 66-page summary, and we'll go through this. Each program will tell you a little more about what's in the bill, but the bill has to pass. Congress may decide not to pass the bill, but pieces of the bill may go through. And Alexandra asked before, it's now being marked up in both the House and the Senate, and that'll take a few months to see what markup they do, what they leave, what they put in. So it's moving. We'll keep you informed on what's going on with the Immigration Act of 2021.
Thank you so much. Alan E.K. Esquire of the firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Thank you for that wealth of information that you constantly and consistently give us. That information, ladies and gentlemen, you can also get by joining the newsletter of the firm by simply emailing news@ppid.com, or fill out the link that's on the Facebook page that you're actually watching right now and put your information in, and you'll get that newsletter ever so often. I want to say also thank you, Alexandra Bondikov, Esquire, for being here with us. I do appreciate the fact that you came on, answered some questions, gave some information, and hopefully you both will have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, you also have a wonderful day, but remember this number for the firm, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Cruising with the Case Handler is the show. The number is 844-774-3529. Call that for your immigration help, 844-PPID-LAW. Also, if you get hurt in an accident, make sure you reach out to the case handler, Adam Handler. And that number, once again, is the same, 844-774-3529. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch up and speak with you again very soon.